Please introduce yourself and why did you come to COP28 in Dubai?
Hello, my name is Delton Chen. I'm the founder and project director of the Global Carbon Award project. So I've come to Dubai, COP28, to present the policy, to network, and to find support for this project.
What is the Global Carbon Reward?
The Global Carbon Reward is a new international climate policy, and it's designed to break through the political gridlock that's preventing us from providing scalable finance and cooperation for rapid decarbonisation of all sectors of the economy, especially the energy sector, and also for funding carbon removal from the atmosphere.
Then why do we need the Global Carbon Reward?
We need the Global Carbon Reward because currently we don't have enough cooperation at all levels of society to really tackle the climate crisis due to the lack of finance and due to the geopolitical and political blockages that surround the entire fossil fuel industry.
The Global Carbon Reward is presented in Kim Stanley Robinson's novel as the carbon coin. Is the Global Carbon Reward about a new cryptocurrency?
No, it isn't. Kim Stanley Robinson was inspired by the policy, the publications that came out prior to the novel in 2020, and he names the carbon instrument a carbon coin, but it's not actually a cryptocurrency. It will be an official asset to be traded in foreign exchange currency markets, and we call it the carbon currency with the code XCC.
Can you please explain what is so special about the Global Carbon Reward?
The Global Carbon Reward is special because, for two reasons. One, it offers scalable, debt-free finance for all kinds of mitigation, including for funding fossil fuel transition into renewables through energy asset exchanges where we can pay to keep fossil fuels in the ground. That's very new, that's radical. And we can fund all of this mitigation without creating direct costs for stakeholders, including citizens, businesses, and governments. The way this will be done is with the carbon currency, which becomes, or which will be, a tradable asset in financial markets, backed by central banks. So another major feature of the carbon reward that's new is that it combines market policies with monetary policies of central banks. Hence, we argue that central banks need expanded mandates to support this policy to be able to manage the systemic risks of the carbon cycle.
Reducing fossil fuel consumption and emissions is critical, especially given that nations are planning to extract double the amount allowed for 1.5 of global warming. How does the Global Carbon Reward address this problem?
This is a very key point that needs to be explained carefully in that, as I said a moment ago, we can use the carbon reward, call it carbon currency, to fund energy asset exchanges. So by way of example, if there was a oil and gas license in a rainforest or in the developing world or any place on the planet that we would prefer not to extract from, we can buy those leases with the carbon currency, reward the owners of the lease with an amount of carbon currency that's approximately equal to the anticipated profits from that lease. However, it will come with conditions and contracts that require them to take most of that carbon reward and to build renewable energy assets. So they will own those assets. So they will enjoy the benefits of the profits over the long term from renewables, and we keep the fossil fuels in the ground. And the nation states that own these resources can enjoy the benefits of the reward so they can develop economically and pull themselves out of poverty. So this is quite a different way of managing the problem, particularly from the perspective of developing countries that struggle with the high cost of financial capital when they want to develop renewable energy projects.
Carbon offsetting has attracted a lot of criticism and controversy. What do you think about this? How does the carbon reward address the problem of offsetting?
Sure. Well, carbon offsetting and carbon credits have been a major focus of the world, particularly under Article 6 of the Paris Agreement. Now, in my opinion, these markets have a role to play, particularly in compliance markets and also voluntary markets. However, my advice is that these markets have inherent limitations. And one of the limitations is that they're always going to be fragmented in terms of the registries and standards for measurement, reporting, verification. So there's that technical side of the MRV, which can be problematic to ensure additionality. But in addition, there's another problem, and that is offsetting doesn't necessarily get us to where we need to go in terms of the Paris goals, because offsetting is simply moving the problem from one place to another place, and it's promoting a business as usual mindset for polluters. What we want to do is give industry another option where we can offer them rewards to reduce their emissions in situ rather than offsetting. Now, this carbon reward can be provided in a way that's very attractive for industry to mitigate in situ directly for the reward rather than offsetting, which is to some respects kicking the ball down the road, kicking the can down the road, because you're really transferring the responsibility from your industry to other parts of the world, which should be doing mitigation anyway.
What about biodiversity, ecosystems, and communities? Major issues today are environmental damage and inequality. How does the carbon reward help ecosystem and communities at the project level or local level?
When the carbon reward policy is implemented, it will offer financial incentives to decarbonise across all sectors. Now, what we're trying to do is actually manage the anthropogenic carbon cycle or carbon balance. We are focusing on the quantity of carbon when we consider how much money to offer, but that's not sufficient. We also need to focus on the quality of carbon. And to assist this issue, what we'll do is offer secondary price signals whereby projects will be encouraged to provide more co-benefits for communities, ecosystems and industries, and fewer harms in their projects. The way we'll do it is we're going to ask stakeholders, including communities, including scientists and industry experts, to voluntarily provide their opinions and their advice and their requests for what kinds of co-benefits they want to see when mitigation work is being done. So we will collect that information from stakeholders in a decentralized fashion using online platforms. Then we'll take this information and score projects. So projects that provide more co-benefits will get a higher score. Projects create harms will get a lower score. Then we will redistribute the rewards based on these subjective scores to further incentivize the creation of co-benefits for the well-being of communities and for ecological health.
What are your plans for the global carbon reward, and how will you get attraction for the global carbon reward?
Our intention, our plan is to demonstrate the policy, first of all with a virtual demonstration where we will do role-playing with stakeholders from different parts, different sectors of the economy, different industries. We will engage with economists, monetary economists, experts in central banking, politicians, citizens and scientists. So all the major stakeholder groups we will engage with to do role play and to learn what kind of influence this policy could make on decision making for the rapid decarbonisation of the economy. So that demonstration is really our theory of change. Through the demonstration, we'll communicate to the world how powerful this policy is and its benefits. As we demonstrate and report, the expectation is that it will attract a few countries to do a pilot. So when we move to pilot phase, around that time, we will be able to bring it to the UN for discussion. And my belief is the policy itself will create the momentum for its discussion and possible implementation.
And do you have anything to add before we end our interview?
Yes, one last point I'd like to make is that we are currently looking for organisations to help us publish and launch the policy with a press release. And we're also looking for partnerships to support the demonstration of the global carbon reward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
صرت غالي إن كان وقتك كنت بشر